So please welcome my girl, Liz Ferris. Hey, darling.
Hello. Sorry about the the lateness.
That that's all right. You had something you had to take care of, hun. You take care of that.
Yep.
So
I am big on the taking care of things.
so have you heard any of what I was talking about?
I heard like a few seconds of it only because I wasn't able to catch the whole thing.
Right.
But I'm
Basically, I'm
turning off my
talking
volume
about
so I don't
the
forget it.
innocent victims, the children who were born into it or brought into it by their parents. And the thing is that we don't, you know, I don't think people really get the full spectrum
No.
of just how horrible it is as a child.
No, because a
Yeah.
lot of times they'll again making sure my volume's on. A lot of times what they're gonna do is they like to, it wasn't as bad as you thought.
Right.
Are you sure that it was like that? Like, are you not exaggerating?
Yeah.
Like, were you making excuses?
Nothing to see here, folks. I
Yeah.
don't see
Like
anything.
I
Yeah.
it's like those monkeys, the three monkeys. See, hear no evil, see no evil, say
Absolutely.
speak no evil. So they all like to pretend like they didn't see us and they didn't, like, how many people could pretend that they didn't see me with a black eye? Like, there's no reason that I should have owned 10 sunglasses
Yeah.
before I was 10 years old.
It's almost like an abused spouse
Because
and
you
how
start
you had
covering
to
it
cover
up
it up.
for that person.
Yeah. How many door handles can you walk into before
Yeah.
people start getting suspicious about things?
How many times did you fall down the stairs of your one-story apartment?
Yeah. Or why are you wearing so much foundation today? And these
That
are
one didn't
literally
get me till I was older.
oh, see, these are literally things that I dealt with as a police officer when I would have to be part, I would have to go on these domestic violence situations. And you're talking, but I'm talking about two adults doing this.
Yeah.
You were a child. So, you got women has your
Liz has her hoodie. That's right. It's facts, not, well, you're already 30 minutes
not
in.
effery,
Facts,
huh?
not fuckery. It's Emily D. Baker's biggest thing.
It's absolutely amazing to me that this has gone on this long. I was talking about it just a little bit ago. The mainstream media has enough time to put what color shoes a celebrity has on the red carpet and shove that in our face for 3 days in a row, but yet we can't get any kind of coverage for what's going on in Scientology
Because they're scared.
yeah
Like, I hate to say it, but they're scared. Nobody
well
wants to go against this billion-dollar corporation. Hell, the kids that got tortured, you
mhm,
know, it's not that we don't want to, it's that we have an obligation. We have
yeah,
an obligation to those that got left behind. And we have an
absolutely,
obligation to our elderly family members that are in there. It's, you know,
absolutely. And that's what tonight is about. It's about the fact we can't be silent.
no.
We have to keep saying this. We have to shout it from the mountaintop. You
Yep,
know,
and that's what we'll be doing this weekend. Again, we
yeah,
are, there's no, this is literally children standing together. Like, Nora's going to stand with me. Alicia is going to stand with me. All these people, we're all
yeah.
standing together as a family,
And
you know?
that's the thing is that's what I think is great about this one. They're calling it the second gens, but the people are now trying to attack that. Why are you calling us second gens? But the fact is you were the people who were born into it or brought into it by your parents as a child.
Yep.
And there has to be, I'm sorry, but there has to be some kind of way of separating you from those who were adults that joined of their own volition.
Yeah.
You know,
And a lot of times I hate to put words on it, but it's a born in.
yeah,
My parents were both staff members and fully believed in Scientology,
absolutely.
when
Yeah,
before I was even conceived, before I was a twinkle in their eyes.
yeah.
Because we don't need to discuss how it was born. That's
No,
gross.
I think we all know how that happens.
Yeah, the birds and the bees. Like, they found me in a cabbage patch.
Yeah. Let's see. OBG Foster, Liz, do you follow Emily D. Baker? She
Yes,
covered.
I do.
Okay. The kids who were abused and felt it was their fault. Now, That's one question I've got. Did you at any point feel
Yeah. I
ownership?
felt like I was an out ethics, horrible human being that if I was suddenly taken off this planet, it was fine.
That's
Because at any moment I didn't know when the last hit or when the next punch or when the next time I was put into a bathroom full of ammonia. I didn't know when was going to be the last time. And each time felt like a little worse than the previous time. And yeah, I I honestly thought I was destined to die young.
that's what kind of I'm speaking rhetorically, but what kind of life is that for a child?
It's not.
You know?
It is absolutely not a life that I would wish upon anybody, but in the very same breath, that's how I lived, you
Yeah.
know?
And
That
that's the thing is that we have, there's such a need for healing for you, for Serge, for Nora, and the list goes on and on and on. And I've said it before, there are a lot of people who are formers that have come in, that have come to me, and they want to talk to me. They want to talk about the experiences they've had, but they don't want to come on YouTube. They're scared to death that
yeah, because
Scientology is coming after them.
well,
And
I can tell those people from a person that is screaming from the heavens exactly what is going on. I've not seen anybody. I got followed once. Okay, I don't know if it was someone trying to steal my truck. Good luck. I throw hands.
there you go.
But at the same time, I have not had any problems since then. And we've all been conditioned that they're going to come after us and they're going to destroy our lives. And Scientology is going to make your life 10 times worse than you thought it was originally going to be.
And you've heard it. Even me, never in. I've been victim of fair gaming, so I can understand their fear. I'm just that kind of person that you're not going to scare me to back down from stuff. I know who I am. My family knows who I am. They know the truth about me. So, I mean, and quite honestly, I'm outside of doing this stuff. I'm probably one of the most boring people you can hang around with. I'm an old dad now, and I like being around my house and my family. But they'll try to do whatever they can. Let's see. And here's something for you. You weren't destined because we need you.
Yes. And I appreciate that because you know what? I'm not I've lived to be, 43 and you know what? Soon as it'll be 44. They
Makes
put
it
you in a
cry.
bathroom full of ammonia. Yeah.
You know?
It's only a toxic gas once you mix it with bleach, guys. Then it becomes mustard gas.
Yeah,
Uh,
boy, I know that personally. Well, that sucks.
that's why they tell you do not mix Clorox bleach with ammonia because you'll die.
Yeah. Let's remember that's what the Germans were using in World War I and World War II.
Hmm.
It's nasty stuff. So let's see. Okay, let's see. Oh, I'm going over some of the things, making sure people know about the rules in the chat there. Let's see. Matt and everybody, if you get a chance, make sure you check out Matt's channel. He does a lot of good First Amendment auditing out there. There are way too many X's now to follow them all, even the ones who speak out. The thing is that, and Matt, here's the problem with that, and I think Liz can probably
We all have different
echo that.
stories.
Yeah,
Like we all have different experiences that it's, not as fun, not, my story is very similar to Laura's.
well,
Laura's similar is very similar to mine, but
right.
then at the same time, they're still very different because we each experience things differently.
Well, what I think Matt's getting at there is that there are too many of you that are out now that are speaking out, that they can't follow them all. But you're built with this resounding fear within you, growing up in that, as to what they'll do to you.
Hmm.
And and it's not a matter of they can't do it because there's just too many of you. It's a matter of one of the biggest, and you listen to it to anyone who is a very successful entrepreneur. 90% of the time, the reason why people aren't able to be successful is because of fear. think about that on a level of this organization that you put your entire life into, and you've seen the horrible things they did to you while you were a member, and then the threats that they make when you come out. That fear is very deep rooted. I mean, not everybody is, and thank God we have you, we have Nora, we have Serge, we have Mike, everybody else that's willing to speak out. Thank goodness we have you, because if we didn't have you, we wouldn't know the horrors that have gone on in there. But I'm sure when you came out, there was a fear in you, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was absolutely a fear that they were going to come after me. They were going to come after my mom. They were going to make her life a living hell. Of course, that was a fear. But what outweighed the fear was my anger that my dad was alive. And I
Yeah.
could have been reaching out to him for almost 20 years. And
Right.
instead, that was taken from me.
Here we go. Now, this one, your father allowed this. Why are you trying to save him? I'm between admiration and bewilderment.
Well, here's the thing. We don't know what my father knew, because each organization, they're separate. And Golden Era Productions is what's known as like a high up base. So now he was a repair person. He didn't work in ethics. He may not know that I was getting the crap kicked out of me on a regular basis. He may not know. And on the idea that he may not know, I've wanted a father my whole life. There's nothing wrong with getting my father.
No.
And if someone has a problem with me getting my father,
well, like she said, she's between admiration and astonishment about it.
mm-hmm.
And I think that's another point that needs to be made is yes, a lot of people are upset about the parents signing their children over to this organization. But these people also believed in this
Mm-hmm.
organization and what it was doing, and they believed that they were moving towards a greater good, which has always been a horrible way to start a sentence. But the fact is that's still your dad.
Yeah.
And deep down inside, like you said, what did he know?
Right. He may not have known a single thing. And do I plan on telling him? Yes.
Yeah.
I plan on telling him everything, every single nook and cranny.
How can you
But to
heal
be
if you don't?
completely honest, I haven't seen him face to face to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
so
that's the thing. You need that closure.
yeah.
All right. And if he didn't know, and if, he could be just like you were when you were in there, and all the things that you put up with because you believed in this organization and you believed that it was doing the right thing for the world. I mean, it's kind of hard to look at him and hold him in judgment when you realize how it felt to be there, and how it felt to think that you were doing something so beyond yourself.
Yeah, they break you down. Like, don't get me wrong, everyone. You don't know that they're breaking you down until you're outside of it.
Yeah.
And you don't even know then until you actually start going to a therapist and finding out the truth of your life and why you do this and why do you flinch and why are you so mad all the time. It's,
Liz,
it's
can
honestly.
you take this for a second? I got to run and get a coffee because
Absolutely.
my sinuses are draining real bad.
Absolutely.
Right.
Oh, I can't click on anybody. Yes, I love the Pikachu reply. No more bewildered, just full of admiration. Well, thank you so very much, because honestly, I know I saw Blow Drill in the chat. It's not that easy. It's not always easy. And if he knew, does that change the situation? A little. I don't need him to be my dad. I needed a dad this whole time. Do I want a dad? Yes. Do I need one? I haven't had one. So why would I suddenly need one now? It's more of a want, a desire. Now, if he knew everything that was going on with me, that's different. That changes things. But he's still a human being that deserves to be out of a cult. Everyone deserves to be out. But a lot of people are scared to go that extra step. They're scared to lose their friends. I lost a friend of 39 years. You know, she knew I was gay. She was a Scientologist and everything was great and dandy. And then she found out I was going to a psychiatrist and suddenly that changed the whole thing. The whole thing. Um, yeah. A want, a miss could have been. Yeah. Absolutely. And I thank you everyone who tells me I'm strong because there were times that I didn't think I was strong. There's still times today that I don't think I'm strong, but
Well, you know,
there's still times that I'm working on it. So I appreciate everyone saying I'm strong.
were there any comments you wanted brought up?
I couldn't click on them. I couldn't probably just bring up anyone you want.
Okay. But, you know,
We got
also,
time because it's all
yeah,
about the non-fuckery.
you don't have to worry about handling it all. Um, we're here for you. You know
Yeah, and
that if you
I'm
need
not dealing
anything from
alone
me,
anymore.
I'm a phone call away. You've got Carrie, and is she asleep?
Nope, I'm just kidding. She's not even here. She's driving
Oh,
home
okay.
right now, but I
I was
wanted to
like, where's
message
my
you for a
hell
little
yeah?
bit.
So,
She will be here. Don't worry. You will get your hell yeah.
all right. But you know, the thing is that you've got love around you now. You've got people who support you, who believe in you, who hear your words, hear your pain. You know, and that I think that that's one of the beautiful things about this community is the fact that you can be who you are. You can let your pain out, and we're not going to hold it against you. If anything, we're going to back you more than anything. So that's I think that's very important. And I love seeing all the people with all the encouraging messages and the show of love that you've got. Um,
Yes, and I have some great mods because I did not warn anybody. Literally, I got off the phone with Carrie and I was like, okay, this is what's going on. You know, and Poe asked me, and she's like, you could do a live. I just wanted you to make the noodles for the spaghetti. That's all you had to do, and I didn't want you scheduling a live until you made
yeah.
sure everyone ate.
Well, and we need that. I mean, my wife, you know, it's the same with me. You know, I mean, I can just go out and do things if I want to, but the fact is that she'll, you know, I just don't do things until I've talked to her if it's something major because, you know, it's respect for each other. It's the love and that connection that we need to share together.
Absolutely.
Who are your mods, by the way?
So we have I don't know who's all here, but I did see Mandy.
Hmm.
So Mandy McGee, the blue hair
Yep.
that you'll see. Freezy New Project,
Oh, okay, cool.
Summer
Yep, I've seen those.
Savage, and I don't know who else is here. But those three are right there. So
Awesome.
um,
And
but
I've got
I have quite a few more. And
okay, I've
oh,
got Gary Mackey and Laura Waldy are my mods. Then I've got another one who's going to be coming on as a backup, and they'll be in and out as they go. But folks, just remember, we believe in open Discord. We believe in open dialogues, open debate.
yes,
Just be
and Miss Sunrise
respectful.
Dawn is I just saw she's here.
Okay, yeah, and just be respectful. No arguing, no profanity. If you're getting upset about something and you feel like you're about to scream it out, get up, take a breath,
Yeah,
smoke a cigarette, do whatever you got to do. But just walk away for a second, collect your thoughts, come back, and you know, we just have open dialogue here. You know, there are a lot of people who say things that, you know, they, especially when it comes to me being a police officer, that they have a lot of thoughts about police. I put them right up there and put them out there for everybody to see. I'm not afraid to, you know, to have an open dialogue about it.
yeah.
Um, let's
I
see.
will have an open dialogue with just about anything. But if you know someone gets to the point of completely disrespectful, like would you say that to your mom? Um, hold on, let me mute this real quick and take care of him.
Okay.
Hold on.
And you know, folks, talking about fathers, I've talked about the fact that, you know, mine was a very brutal person. He was a very angry man, and he's gone. We'll never know the truth of why it was. But the fact is that at some point I just realized that the anger and hatred that I had was doing nothing but burning me up inside. It was stopping me from being able to have that relationship with my family that I needed. I knew that what I didn't want to be as a father, I knew how I didn't want to be as that person in my children's lives. But there was always some kind of feeling like I was tied down to something. And when you're wondering about, why Liz is trying so hard to get her father back in, that closure is amazing. And it's something that we all need. And once I let it go with my dad, I was just like, you know what? I'm too old to be carrying this burden anymore. I
Mhm.
forgave him, and it felt like a ton of weight had been pulled off my back. So let's see. Oh yeah, I'm going to go into that Friday about all that's going on out there in LA. Mona, thank you for having been here. We really appreciate you being here. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, and again, folks, as Mandy's saying, these are sensitive topics. There may be a trigger warning for some of you, and if you can't help handle it, by all means, remove yourself. You don't have to sit
Absolutely.
here and trigger yourself. I don't want you to. I want everyone. The purpose of these videos is growth and healing and exposing the horrors that came out of this organization and still continue to do so. Tell us about your first experiences once you had been taken from your parents and put into the first situation you were in.
Um, well, I'll tell you the first memory I have is walking around like Pack Base. So that is the blue buildings for everybody that needed to know. And I walked past security. I waited for a security guard to come through. I snuck in. I waited for another person to come out of my mom's area, which is Incom. And that was a super top secret area. It was top secret. And I remember I got caught multiple times. But this one
Wow.
particular instance, I got caught and they screamed at me, and my mom just stood there and did nothing.
Mm. And it is
And
Big Blue if you folks don't know what it is.
yep.
So it just I don't that don't seem that seems more like a mental hospital than a church to me, but hey.
And it kind of is. It's run like, Captain Davy and the fake Space Navy.
Mhm.
It's run like and again, my biggest thing is it's not just a standard place for kids. Like it's not like you're given love. You don't even know what the word love really means.
Right.
At least I didn't. I did not know what love really meant except by my Nana. I thought everybody else hated me.
Wow.
All this was DM era, right? Nope. L. Ron Con Artist died in 1986. So I was born in 1980. So,
Did you see the when Jamie Mustard was on Sunday night?
mhm.
The thoughts of the fact of him being removed from the delivery ward, taken straight to Scientology, where he was basically put into a room with dozens of other newborns with one person watching them.
Yep. And a lot of times it's a young cadet, like it's a young person, someone that obviously has not had children, doesn't know if they want to have children, and are not kind. Sometimes you get lucky. And I know this sounds really bad because you say, I say the word lucky. If you got someone that had, previously had kids and they loved kids, they were very loving to you. If they
Wow.
weren't, you were getting hit by them just as much.
And I think it also had to do a lot with how deeply involved they were as well.
Yep, where your parents were on for a lack of better words, the org board, played a huge role in where you went. People used to tell me, "Well, your mom's the LRH comm, so you must have it so easy."
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I'm starving right next to you, so I don't know what her post has to do with me getting food.
Let's talk about that as well. As children, the rice and beans, was that a normal thing that you had to deal with?
To be completely honest, I only remember we had waffles once and everybody was over the moon. Except
Wow.
it didn't come with maple syrup. It was literally like you had to douse it in honey.
Wow.
We didn't have maple syrup. And I remember that was an amazing day because other than that, you had green scrambled eggs that would literally look green. So green eggs and ham, you know.
Wow.
But the toast would be cold. But you'd have to make it work. And of course, when toast gets cold, it gets hard and you feel like you're going to dislocate your jaw. So, but you do the best that you can in what you can eat. I became very, very leaning on I would do oatmeal a lot with honey in it.
You know,
Now I can't stand it. Now I can't stand honey at all.
yeah, I mean, that's there are a lot of things that as a child that, you know, we had to eat at certain times because we just didn't have money. And the thing is that those things nowadays, I don't want them anywhere near me. They make me literally ill to even smell them.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And a lot of times, you know, Blow Drill just had a comment. Rice and beans was more of a punishment for lower conditions. Yes. So if someone was in lower, like if my mom was in lower conditions, yeah, I got rice and beans right next to her.
wow,
But
that's amazing. Lene or Lenny Banahan, post streams are always good. Liz, I admire your courage and perseverance. I'm sure if anyone from Scientology shows up at your door, you would kick their booty. So, yeah, I don't have any worries about you being able to take care of yourself. That's for sure.
no, the trick is not to be a blubbering mess. And, you know, and that is the hard part that I'm going to try to do is when we go down this weekend, you know, I'm going to try not to be a blubbering mess. Like I'm going to be like, go to hug Nora and it's not going to be pretty, guys. Like I'm going to hug Liz and Alicia and I'm going to reach up and hug Aaron because I'm short. And we're all.
And Serge and Michael are going to be there, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, that's a given that I'm hugging them because I've seen them multiple times.
I love, you know, my first chance getting to talk to them the other night. Marilyn was there with us, and I just love those two. I think they're awesome together. I think that they're putting a lot out there.
Yes.
Boda, as a Latina, I'm offended by Scientology's horrible rice and beans. Yeah, I think it was when I listen to Jamie Mustard and what happened to him as a child and the way that they did it, all that I keep going back to are Germany, Russia, some places, other countries that have gone through extreme communism.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they do those things. They take the children, they put them into the sterile environment, show them no love, no affection, because the whole purpose of it is to make them into workers, not thinking sentient beings. It's to make you follow orders without question, take the beatings that they give you, and then they give you rice and beans because it gives you protein and it gives you nutrition enough to keep you alive. And
yeah, it's that bare necessity enough to keep you going. Like,
absolutely. When
did the rice have flavor? No. Beans?
No, goodness.
No.
I mean, before I started the live, I set my rice cooker on, you know, but when I go down, I'm going to, you know, I have chicken breast that we've seared that I'm going to cut up on top of it. And I have Japanese seasoning I put on there. But if you just eat that rice by itself, there's no flavor.
No.
Yeah. So it's horrible. But these are the things that, you know, I take it as though Lafayette was following what he saw from these communist countries and how that they treated their citizens and the way that they fed them with this is enough to sustain the body, but it's not going to cost me anything.
Yeah. You know, I honestly think for me personally, like again, now that I've been in therapy, the hard part for me is they break you down every which way they can inside Scientology, whether it be from food, whether it be from lower conditions, whether it be from begging someone to sign your paperwork so that way you can be let back into the group.
Yeah.
They're breaking you down every time you turn around. But the difference isn't whether or not they're breaking you, it's how they try to build you back up. So that
Right.
way you do follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, you don't get to eat.
Yeah.
The yeah, exactly. Sleep
That's what I was going to
deprivation
bring up right
alone.
there. Yeah.
Like when I was kept up for quite a few days, like my Nana had been dead for quite some time. She died when I was 12 years old. When I'm sitting there scrubbing varnish with my hands and using the little Brillo pad, I look up and there was my Nana, and I know that it's from the fact that I hadn't slept in days.
Yeah. And let's remember, remember the potato famine in Ireland. How many people literally could not get nutrition because the potato crops had gone bad? So you think about that, just how little it takes to actually sustain a working community. So, these are all, did he take it out of the Marxist playbooks, things like that. You have to remember this. It's all has a purpose to it. I've talked about it before when I went into basic training in the Army. It was sleep deprivation. It was, all these different things where they break you down and turn you from a civilian into a soldier. They build you back up the way that they need you. But the difference is that in the Army, they want you thinking. They want you to be able to formulate. They want you to be able to handle tasks. But the purpose of it is to take that civilian out of you, so you're not worrying about, hey, am I getting enough likes on YouTube, or is my TikTok going big? No, the point of it is to make you a soldier so that you're on task for the purpose that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I
Can
think
we
that's it.
grab the question from That's My Girl?
Yep, I was just getting ready to pull that up.
Okay. So question, where were the authority wait a minute, why were the authorities able to go and get the kids out of the FLDS? They were clearly experiencing SA and other abuses, but not COS kids experiencing the same. Okay, so this is my opinion and not Poe's opinion. This is solely Liz Ferris's opinion and what I believe with what I've experienced. I honestly think that the police and the feds are scared of Scientology. For some reason, they've got dirt on someone. I don't care. It's they're working hand in hand. Like they might as well get married. Like they're all sleeping in the same bed.
And let's also think about it. Look at how much outside of the Scientology realm. Look at how much media coverage Grant Cardone gets.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What is going on that this guy is getting all this preferential treatment from the media? It was easy with the polygamists. That's the easiest way I can say it, the FLDS or whatever they were called. But it was easy with them because they were, they didn't have these big money people who could rub the right palms and get themselves. They were out there and all this flash and showing how great they think they are. With those folks, you're talking, they basically looked at it as a bunch of rednecks out in the middle of nowhere who built this community where it's all about old
Yeah,
men
it's all
and young
about a
girls.
75-year-old man marrying a 12-year-old girl.
Yep.
And the 12-year-old girl having babies. It's, I don't see any difference in allowing that compared to how Scientology lets 14 and 16-year-olds marry 28-year-olds, 32-year-olds. I don't see any difference, but for some reason they get parental consent. Well, your parent gets threatened. Let's be real. Your parent is threatened to be excommunicated, if not declared, if you suddenly have that. So honestly,
Yeah.
it is what it is. They're the exact same, yet for some reason cops want to arrest, people that are trying to out the stories of, what's going on in Scientology. They're trying to out, how kids were treated, how adults were treated. And suddenly, the people trying to out the truth are villains.
Yeah. And that's the thing is that you didn't have to worry about the FLDS coming back and attacking you.
Yeah.
They pretty much tried to circle the wagons, which did no good for them. Remember, Scientology went after the IRS. They went after the director of the IRS. The kind of cojones that it took to do something like that, to go after an agency that could literally destroy them. And they put enough on there. I think the big difference nowadays is that because of YouTube and social media and the internet, they don't have the power they used to have. And there's so few people are watching the actual mainstream media anymore. They're watching more of this. They're watching this real content from people who are really experiencing it.
Yeah. And do I
but-
think there's good cops out there? Yes.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely do. I believe that not every one of them has lined their pockets.
Right.
But at the same time, I think that a lot more people have lined their pockets than there are good ones.
And there's the problem is that these organizations are smart. They start rubbing the palms at the top and then working their way down and infiltrating through the things like we've talked about with using police officers in uniform as private security for these organizations. That's how they start working their way down. And they start with the top through the politicians, as I've talked about before. The mayor of LA was very heavily involved with Scientology and then realized that wasn't a good look and started attacking Scientology on the campaign. But how much involvement does she still have with Scientology? How much coercion do they still have on her? So, we talk about the cops on the streets. We're talking about people that are, trying to do the job, but they've got their commanders all the way up to the mayor who are basically telling them, oh no, it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way, those kinds of things. That's where the corruption starts. Is you have these folks, and I keep saying guys, just it's a force of habit for me, but you have these folks that you're a brand new cop. The person who's training you is the one who is telling you how it's supposed to be. They're supposed to be giving you the proper direction and things. And you have to look at it. Great example, a young man that I knew, and I'd given him a challenge. You keep yourself straight, I will get you in with the electric union and you can get a good job from that. Well, he did it. He kept himself straight. I got him his union card. I got him signed up with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. He went to a 2-week class down in Ohio. Once he finished that, he came back up and he got to working with the power company, going out in the trucks and restoring everything. He learned everything about the job on the job. And a lot of police officers, when you go through the police academy, you're there and they're shoving I think I was doing 12 to 16 hours a day in the police academy when I went through, but it was all about just continually this revolving wheel of these are the laws, these are the laws, these are the laws, so that when you came out, you knew how to write tickets, you knew how to use your sidearm, and you knew basically the basic codes. I have the books back here, Criminal Law and Procedure for the state of Michigan. We had to literally rewrite those books. We would bring in 30 to 40 pages of homework a night where we literally just went through and copied what was in those books. So when you hit the streets, if you don't have a good training officer, how do you get good training? I was very fortunate that I had officers who were very diligent in this is constitutionally not right. This is not legal. You don't worry about your opinions and your feelings. You're here to be a police officer, not take out your concerns on people. And
right.
If you don't have that, where are you getting the true instruction? And that's why I say this needs to be handled by someone other than LAPD. It's got to be handled above them, the CBI, the FBI, the Department of Justice. That's where things need to be handled. They need to be the people that have no skin in the game. So
yeah, and let's say that I've talked to someone from the DOJ. A lot. The worst response I've ever gotten in my entire life is that's above my pay grade. I didn't know what that meant. Did not know what that meant. I had to call Ono Nora to find out what that's above my pay grade is, because I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Are you paid
And just like you
more?
said,
Like,
that fear that's in there of this organization, they're going to go, I'm not making that decision. I'm letting my supervisor make that decision, or the next person up the tree. And that happens. It absolutely does. But that's why we got to continue to scream it from the mountaintops, because
yeah.
eventually they got to listen. Nisa says, as a boy in Turkey, my father worked as a 12-year-old child because his father had passed away. My grandmother didn't have any choice but put him to work.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, they leave school, and
we're
I've read quite a few articles on that.
we're just one or two generations from that being the way of life here in the United States. My grandmother was married at 13 years old. My grandfather was 15. The day after they married, he went straight to work in the coal mines. So, I mean, and I know many of children who grew up in Appalachia, very poor, that they had to go to work and couldn't go to school. It's a very real thing, and it gets overlooked a lot of times. But hopefully, new day, new age, we have this ability with the internet to where we can hopefully not have these things continue to be like that. But other countries, unfortunately, sometimes are much slower to catch up than we would like. Let's see, Jillian Delir. If for some reason little Davy stopped running COS, who would take over?
It's kind of like, I would want to say the next in line, but you know what? Honestly, there'll be some kind of, man overboard and a fight to lead, because there's always greed, unfortunately. And
Absolutely.
Davey Miskovich, he was not supposed to be the person put in charge, but he figured out a way to become the person in charge.
Yeah, he seized the crown.
Sophia, good to see you. Public pressure changes more than people realize. Yep. Yeah. The more people that put the twist on that pressure, like lean on, write letters to your local government, write letters to anybody, again, I'm not trying to say that all cops are bad, because you know what, they're not. But right now we need the good ones to start stepping forward and stop telling people that we're a gang. We're a group of friends, family that all have each other's back.
And that's the thing is that, and again, Friday, and if you'd like to join me on Friday, you're more than welcome. I want to go over a lot of it. When are you going to be in LA?
I will be, we're heading, well, as was announced, I'll be down there Friday.
Okay. If you are available, you're always welcome. I haven't been keeping up. I know they were waiting about DOA, but what about, is this charges for all of them or just DOA that were dropped?
Yeah, because there were still charges that were pending, and that was how they were able to hold the van.
Okay. And there's and I'll say it right now, this whole BS about conspiracy and all that stuff, that's a load of crap, and it'll get proven one way or another. But I've said it before. We get in these situations. There was an officer that I knew had proof that a politician had been involved in something very bad. And they ended up suspending this officer. They actually terminated him. And when I went to the mayor and I said, hey, you have no grounds to terminate this guy. He's going to get his job back. What are you doing? The mayor looked at me and said, he's going to spend 6 months without a paycheck. He's going to have to go do something else for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not he gets his job back, I don't care. He still learned a lesson. So, that I think that these arrests and what's going on are just as much about intimidation as they are about anything else.
Yeah, it's literally the way that they arrested him. They got him before the weekend. So that was an intentional way of making sure that no court was open, because there's no court on the weekends. So busting someone on a Friday is monumental, because that at least puts it right there. They hold you for the weekend, and then they can just drag out at least in this situation, they can drag out when you actually see a judge, because it just has to be 48 hours during court time. So technically, court
Which
starts Monday.
I find it really interesting that they would, that it's like that in LA, because in here, we're right outside of Detroit, and we still had judges that were in on Saturday to handle the cases.
We have judges in on Saturday here in Sacramento.
Yeah. So, I mean, that just something they intentionally do? So, and folks, I just put the link in. That's how you can find out who your state representative is to the House of Representatives in Washington, D.C. And someone was saying they've been messaging their representative, they're not answering. At some point, they're going to have to answer.
Yeah, there's going to come a time when people will have to choose.
And oh hell no, you know what? That's the thing is like I said, I believe in open debate. I believe in open discussion and dialogue, and starting a new server that takes away a lot of the venom and the toxins that were in that other Discord server. By all means, yeah, you don't need to ask our permission for it. You're part of the community just like we are.
Yeah.
So,
and is it amazing that they're following the rules that I have? Like, yeah, it's phenomenal, because realistically, oh, I see a Yankee fan. Sorry, that squirreled me right there. Yankees, all the way. Dog's name is Bambino.
Oh, I'm looking right now.
See. It is ASAP.
Oh, Lizzie. There we go. ASAP Lizzie.
Mm-hmm.
Yonkers, New York.
Yep.
And we got
people, immediately made me think of Yankees.
We've got Norway, Germany, Australia, all those folks in the chat. And that's the beautiful thing, folks, is that this isn't just a California or a United States thing or a Canada thing. The more people worldwide keep going at this, the more that these politicians are going to have to start listening. They can't ignore it for too long.
No.
Let's see here. But yeah, I mean, we've talked about some of the abuses that they did to children. There are other aspects that were far worse. And that is the essay that has happened.
I mean, I personally don't have that memory while inside of Scientology. My experience, I was a Scientologist, but it happened to someone that was not related to Scientology at all. The stories that I've heard just shatter my heart, and again, it makes me go like, so I took a couple punches, like, no big deal. They, some people had it far worse than I did. And yes, I am going to say that, because certain things didn't happen to me while inside. I was just a punching bag.
And the thing is, and it's not just the children. Look at Rosemary and what she had to deal with. And the fact that Mike Rinder actually came out seeing what was going on, laughed, said, "What are you doing?" And then walked away, and then thanked that person in his book.
Yeah, it's a little much. For me, it's a little much. And again, I've laid low on telling my opinion in regards to this. But here's the thing: anybody that had a rank, a position, whether it be in RTC, whether it be in, Golden Era Productions, whatever it may be, anyone that had any kind of, we're talking the 3 to 4 stripers, people, 3 to 4 stripers, and at least a bunch of fake medals.
Yeah.
They like to have like lieutenants and 3 bars and all that stuff. But if you had those bars, if you had 3 to 4 bars on your cuffs, guess what? You sent someone to the RPF. You sent a lot of people to the RPF. You put someone on rice and beans. You put someone in lower conditions. Now, does that take away the horrible things that have happened to that person? No, it doesn't. But you know what? It's just being culpable of what has happened, that, yes, you are a victim, but you are also a perpetrator at the same time. It's
And
just accountability.
sometimes when you're in situations like that, when they remove personality from who you are, and they instill it with, this is your purpose, this is how you do things, the only way in the situations like where you're talking about being a punching bag, that's what they know. That's the
Mhm.
only way they know how to handle it. And we're talking about other children being put into a position of power, and all they've ever known is Scientology.
Yeah.
And it's like with the SA, a lot of times people who SA children were victims themselves.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that there's a lot of victims out there. For me, it's more along the lines like I want people to be accountable,
Yeah.
And if someone says that I've hurt them, I am sure I did. If someone says I talk nasty to them, I'm sure I did. Did I ever send anyone to the RPF? No. Did I get someone sec checked? Yeah, that was my job.
And
And I'm not proud of that.
if you haven't watched it, folks, you've got to watch the Mike Brown, Laura FM videos.
Yeah.
The fact is that if you want to see what a true human being is, look at how Mike sat there. He didn't argue with her. He didn't try to defend what happened. He accepted what he did. He owned up to it, and he truly apologized, and he made amends for it. The growth that you saw throughout those two separate episodes between the two of them, absolutely amazing. But that it takes someone being able to acknowledge what they've done, admit it, and move forward to try to start the healing. I think it was spellbinding to watch that.
Yeah.
Now you do you know Laura FM personally?
I do. I know Laura. I am excited to see her. I even she did a live the other day, and I had to send her a super chat. I'm like, see you soon.
Was that the birthday one? I saw that one. So
no, I was on the birthday live with her.
oh, okay.
But I did send her some money while I was in there. She's like, I was like, what are you doing? It's your birthday.
She's a character.
I love her. Like she is so much energy, and she has so much positivity, even though it's been wrapped in negative, like she's been wrapped in negativity, she still finds a way to shine positivity.
I think she's being her true self now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I really love. And that's the thing that gets me with her is no matter what, I can go to her channel and she's going to make me laugh. She's going to make me smile. And I think that's what's great. Let's see here. Gary Mackey. Hiya, Liz. I watched Mike Brown's latest video, Rosemary, yesterday. Was so mad. Had to take a break halfway through.
Yeah. And thank you for taking breaks. Like, honestly, thank you, everyone that takes breaks. I am a firm believer that if you need to take a step back, if you need to do any of that, take a step back, because I would rather you take a step back and reach out to any of us, and for us to be able to talk and communicate and have a good time or whatever it may be, than have to listen to someone's eulogy.
And
so
folks,
please remember that.
There's my email address. If you need, email me. All right. I'm not, believe me, over the last few days, I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails. But when I get a chance, I will definitely respond and try to talk. So it may not be immediate, but I will do the best that I can. There's Liz's as well.
Absolutely.
So, folks, it's not just about us as content creators being here for each other. We're a community.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the strongest things we have is our bond as a community and how we.
Yeah. And you know what? I try to answer each and every single one of the emails. If I forgot someone, definitely send it again. Cause I get a lot, being honest. It's a lot to go through. So but I will absolutely respond. If we're Facebook friends, don't be surprised if I suddenly call you to make sure that you're okay.
Yeah.
Because I've done that to a few people. If I think you're not okay, I will call you and make sure that you are okay.
And update, Duncan Honig had a procedure this morning. I talked to Marilyn. He's doing good. They're both doing good there. So make sure you keep them in your prayers.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was anything super major. I didn't even ask what it was because I don't think it's my business. All I wanted to know is Duncan being taken care of, and is he doing good? That's what I care about. So, but getting back into it, what I find just as horrifying over the fact that that this was happening to children was the fact of how there has been a continual cover up and there has been a blind eye turned to it as though it never happened, or in some cases it's your fault that it happened to you.
Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many times I took, like, I am a bad kid. I'm a piece of garbage. Like, no, I knew how bad I was going to get it by how bad this door, like how loud the door was slamming. Like if it was like you were fine. If it was you're getting hit a little bit. If it was a bang, just kiss your ass goodbye.
About to get that whooping.
Mm-hmm.
And probably one of the things that
DOA is out.
My children have never heard from me because I heard it so many times from my father is look what you made me do.
I'll give you a reason to cry is one that I will never ever use.
Yeah, I've heard that one too, but look what you made me do, and the whole point of making it the fault of the victim so that you don't feel bad about yourself for what you're doing. And then when he was finished with the beating and throwing a towel at me and telling me, clean the blood off my back and don't you dare let your mother see this. Those were the things that absolutely my children have never and will never hear from me.
Yeah.
And folks, you have to remember, you don't just have to be a part of an evil cult that's out to destroy people. This happens in the everyday world.
Absolutely.
And someone was asking what PTSD is. The new terminology is PTSI instead of it being post-traumatic stress disorder, where they're making it as though it's some kind of mental disorder. It's PTSI, post-traumatic stress injury,
or induced.
And you don't have to have been a soldier or a police officer. This is a real thing that is happening to people. And just because you weren't a soldier or a first responder seeing these horrible things happening, the fact that you're a child and your father throws you into the shower and begins beating you with a whip antenna or an extension cord, and the whole time calling you things like you're a little FAGGOT, look what you made me do. Those are the kinds of things they build that trauma in you. And you don't have to be a soldier to have to experience that.
Nope. It's more than one trauma experiencing more than one trauma back to back.
Yeah.
That can literally induce PTS.
And it's not a disorder. It's an injury that happened, whether that injury happened to your mind or your body. It's still an injury that occurred. It's not a disorder. And it needs to be recognized as what it is.
Yep. Absolutely.
No, fourth quarter. My father passed away a couple years ago. I carried the weight of his anger and his hatred towards me my whole life. And then I got to the point where I realized that it was causing me more harm than anything else. I forgave him, not because I forgave him because I needed it to heal myself. And
I'm still working on it.
Yeah, and you'll get to that point, hon. You'll get there. you know you've got the love and support here to carry you however you need. And then, like I've said before, if you need and you don't want to be there by yourself when it happens, all you got to do is call me. If I have to, I'll ride a bicycle out there to be by your side, hold your
Hey,
hand while you do it.
for me, it's you know, we've talked about it many of times. Well, we've screamed about it many of times.
Yeah,
And she just says, you know, that was discipline. Well, her definition of discipline and my definition are on two different spectrums.
absolutely.
And so that's going to be the best answer that I'm going to ever get from her, because I don't think she can really face it being anything other than discipline.
Yeah.
I think if she really had to sit there and think about it and really make a conscious effort to think about it, I don't think that she could, her mentality or her mental, her brain would be able to function if she knew just how bad she abused me.
Yeah, I think that sometimes that reflection upon yourself and the things that you've done in situations like that is so overwhelming that if you admit it to what you had done or what you had allowed, that it's going to break you and you're not going to be able to come back from it. So you put up those borders, you put up those walls so that you don't have to accept what you've done. You break the mirrors so you don't have to look at it. And that's a real thing.
Can you pull up fourth quarter ferns?
Yeah, can we what were you going to say about that?
I have a response to it.
Yeah, go right ahead. Yeah, because I was going to block them for mine.
Okay, so fourth quarter fern, is it, if this is all true, none of you have any business having anything to do with any one of your parents, moms, dads. Be a good example and disconnect from these people. That is a horrible word to use on my chat or anyone else's in regards to Scientology. I'm covered in scars, buddy. You want to take a picture? You know, if you're coming here to create a problem, I'm good, buddy. You're obviously bored. Find a therapist.
You're here for the purpose of starting problems because you're working for others. And the fact is that that I agree that one word there towards the end. What are you doing? I mean, that is straight up Scientology tricks 101. So none of you have any business having anything to do with any one of your parents. Who are you to say that? What gives you the right to tell me what I can or cannot do? And especially when we sat here and talked about it, how many times that forgiveness helped us heal and will help us heal.
Yeah.
But, I got to get that. That's going to make me understand.
We're getting more and more trolls. The more and more people that subscribe, the more and more people that support us, the more and more people that listen to what's going on. We're going to have that, people. The difference is like, should I have humored that person? Probably not.
Did you see Lizeka's statement?
Huh?
See Lizeka's statement?
No. Oh, that's amazing. I wouldn't doubt it.
I haven't seen what's been being said by him, but I hear that there's been some things that I would completely not agree with. But
I've heard some things, not gonna lie. I've heard a few things. I've also read a couple things. So nothing personal, dude, but
if that's what you're doing, my goodness, you can't focus on other things. I don't understand this whole, we start pointing out things that certain people are doing, and suddenly other people have to jump in and protect them.
Yeah.
If
You
simply the
know,
person that you're pointing out what they're doing wrong would address it in the first place, instead of going radio silent or putting out a dead agent thing, you know.
yeah, I still do. I did get a rabbit dead agent. I had to.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you know, these things are really, they're real, they're happening, and you see people that are no longer in, using the same tactics against Liz, against me, Marilyn. Lord, we love Marilyn to death. She's the mama bear of all of us.
Right? She's the kindest, sweetest. Like,
And someone made her cry,
yeah,
you know?
I am more than welcome for someone to make me cry. You want to tell me that I'm fluffy? Cool story. You gonna tell me that I look gay? Because I am.
Yeah, I mean,
Yep.
that was that was like, you know, when one of my children decided they were going to come out, and they're telling us, we're like, tell us something we don't know. So, I mean, that's, you know, the fact is, that's my child, and
Hmm.
I love her to death, and whoever she is, I just want her to be her true self. That's what I want. I don't care about labels. I don't care about any of that other stuff. I just want my children to feel loved, respected, and secure around me. And I want to be a role model in their lives that they can look up to, and hopefully that makes them better people. You know, I didn't have that.
Yeah.
I did.
And I didn't either. Um, but the word itself, because I see that, you know, some people are having some call me hef. I dare you.
Call me a heifer. I dare you.
Oh, that's just rude. If someone
No,
called,
that's she was joking.
I know, but if someone said that to me, I'd be like, so rude. But I
Call,
agree,
call me fat boy. Call me stupid. I don't care. I
right?
know who I am. I know I'm not the brightest uh, candle in the box, but the fact is at least I'm willing to try, and I'm always willing to learn. And that's you know, that I think that's one of the things that sets a lot of people apart, is whether or not you're willing to accept who you are and move forward and try to advance. That
Yeah,
yeah.
don't get me wrong. There are times that I do have to lean on people, but
Yeah.
I'm always if I'm gonna reach out to you because I think something's not okay,
Mhm.
um, then you know what? I'm probably gonna do that for you one day because I may be like, oh, I'm not okay. How are you? you
Yeah.
know? Um,
And that's the thing, is I love doing these lives with you because it allows me to keep connected with you.
yeah.
And that to me, that's important. And you know, it's through these lives and through the chat and the connections we're making with the community that we see how many people are suffering from PTSI. We see how many people are suffering from the horrors that have happened in their lives. And, you know, we're all broken. There's no such thing as normal.
No.
And
We've all done something wrong. We've all, you know, nobody's perfect. I had that chat on my thing the other day. Like nobody is perfect. Like I sold a condom keychain. Now why on earth my lesbian self needed a condom keychain, I'll never know.
hmm,
Um but at the same time it was funny.
yeah, I think that's a thing. I mean, I've been fixed since the kids were after I counted fingers and toes, made sure everything was good, got the snip. You know, but even I would find that funny and be tempted to buy it myself. So let's see.
You
I
know, well,
have,
I was not tempted to buy it. I actually took it with me.
yeah,
Did I
it'd be
have the
hilarious.
money to buy it? Yes, I did.
It'd be
And for
hilarious
some
trying to
reason
explain it to my wife, though. You know, I have Popeye syndrome. I am who I am, and that's all that I am.
I love
Yeah,
that quote.
that's all we can be, folks. You can't. You know, for a long time, I realized that there were a lot of things I did in life where I tried to achieve these grandiose things. And I realized that there was this drive in me that needed my father's approval. of who I was. And when I realized that no matter what I did, hey, Dad, I got promoted to sergeant today. Yeah, well, when are you going to be lieutenant? Dad, I got promoted to lieutenant. When are you going to be chief of police? It was never good enough.
Yeah, there's always something. And I remember that. I learned that one very, very well. No matter what school I got into, no matter how good my grades were, it was always a competition with someone else.
Yeah. I think the thing that really hurt me the most was no matter what I did, it was never good enough. But yet somebody he worked with, he would brag about how good something their kids had done. And it almost felt like he was rubbing it in my face. You're pathetic. You can't do anything that I can be proud of. But hey, my buddy's kid caught a bass the other day. Did you see how big that was? Man, that kid's great. And that's and I'm using that as an example, not as something that it probably did happen. I forget most of it, but that's the thing is that we sit there and we chase this dream for so long, and then once we realize that dream isn't real, it comes crashing down very hard on us.
Or for lack of words, that the nightmare that we've been experiencing isn't normal.
Yeah.
That one was hard. That was a hard pill for me to swallow. Like finding out that people didn't grow up the way that I did. And that's what helps me connect with a lot of, with Nora, with, Lara, with Sturge, with all of them. Like we have this connection where it's like, I really feel like here's the missing pieces. Because for the longest time I couldn't fill in my past. And, not that I couldn't remember how we grew up, but I, for some reason, thought it was normal.
Yeah.
To grow up like that.
And you know what? I think probably one of the most hurtful things, the beatings, the comments, all that stuff, I dealt with those. But I think the thing that broke my heart the most was doing all these things to try to get my father's attention and approval, only to be ignored. But yet I was the oldest of 3 children. My younger brother, he could drop a pencil and my dad would be jumping up talking about how eloquently he dropped that pencil. I couldn't get him to come up and visit me or his own grandchildren 4 hours away, but he would drive 12 hours to go see my brother in college. The fact that when it came time when I graduated high school, I couldn't get into college because I didn't have the money. There was never any money saved up for me. And then he refused to sign any paperwork to help, with the student loans to get me into college. But yet when my brother graduated high school, who had a full ride scholarship in basketball, they went and they bought him a brand new car with the money they had saved up to put him through college. And I think that those were the things that hurt me more than anything. And like you were saying, watching the people that you're trying to get their respect and their love and their admiration from, putting it on other people. And, especially for me, it wasn't just other people. It was my own sibling. And I love my brother. I don't hold anything against him. I applaud everything he's ever done. But my father, watching him heap these admiration and this love on him, and at the same time pushing me behind him. And I think that hurt more than anything. And that was, and I think that I see the correlation with what you went through, because you're constantly looking for that kind of receipt from your superiors, not just your parents, but you're looking at from the people who are in charge of you and who are supposed to be supervising you. And, they're doing nothing but beating you down, but yet they're going to give a gold plate sized medal to some idiot who's a movie star for doing nothing but, helping to draw more people into this cult.
Yep. And jumping on couches.
Yeah, there we go. Isn't it great? And that's the thing. When I say none of us are normal, it's because normal doesn't exist.
Yeah. It literally doesn't.
Yeah. And TN Treasure Finder, yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're talking, not only are we talking about Appalachia, people from Appalachia and that whole community there and how that goes, but we're also talking about the Native American side of it, the abuses of alcohol and what that does to family. And there were so many things that went into it that caused the life that I had to go through. But my kids love me, and I love my kids. I would lay my life down for my children at a moment's notice. You don't even have to ask me. I would do it. And I would do the same for my wife. I mean, heck, as a police officer, I'd do it for a drug addict on the street. I put myself in front of them to save their life. So my children never have to feel fear of me. They never have to feel that disappointment that they can never do enough to make me happy. All they got to do is love me, and I'm good with that. And that's the same with you, Liz. I don't care about any of that other stuff. What I want to make sure is that you're loved.
Mm-hmm. I am, obviously, I've been seeing a therapist for quite some time, and yeah. I know that I'm loved. I feel loved. And even some of the people in the chat right now, I've had great conversations with, and you get off the phone and you're suddenly like, I love that person.
Yeah. I mean, I finish a lot of these streams or watching your content and the things that you've gone through and the things that you're going through. And, watching you and Carrie, to me, is the biggest prize of it all.
Yeah, I got lucky. I found love.
Yeah, I say it. I've said it a million times. I married way out of my league. That's for sure. And I'm so fortunate that I have someone that loves me unconditionally, as I do them. No relationship's perfect. We all have our problems. We argue, we bicker, all that. But it's the fact that love holds you together through all that. And I think that's very important. And I know that this was supposed to be about one topic tonight. And as always, it always gets put into a million different things.
It goes into a few different locations. It's totally okay.
But I want to thank everybody in chat, because the support coming out of the chat has been amazing. Yeah, there's going to be some donkeys, hinds, ends who come in here and they say some ridiculous stuff. But the fact is, almost all of you have been nothing but supportive, and I really appreciate that. And I'm sure that Liz mirrors that.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so very much. If you are not subscribed to me, remember, Carrie will come on live. The amazing spouse of mine, she will only come on live once I have 5,000 friends or family, because I don't call them subscribers. I call it friends and family.
But at least we get to hear her,
So,
yeah,
I know.
What's she out doing that she can't be there to give me my hell yeah?
Probably eating spaghetti. No, I don't. You know what? I don't even know if she didn't even text, nothing, or she might have. I don't know. I'm gonna have to go out a looking.
Yeah, I mean, it's I got up and went to get my coffee, and I look around, the whole house is dark. I'm like, what the heck? Wife's sitting in bed watching TV. So, I know
that Chow Young Smut is. Hold on one second. There's that comment right there. I've been hyping your channel on my late night streams. Thank you so much.
Chow, put your link in there so everybody knows. And that's, so that we know what's going on. I had where was that at? My goodness. I got to find it real quick.
You talking about the cruise?
No, I got I've been talking to people about going out and doing the A1A auditing and all that. I had it, my last live, I had it in the link there, but I'm going to do a live where I talk about all the people who've been out there. You got Matt from Matt Elliott, MAA. He's doing the 1A audits in Canada. There's been a few other people, and I want to make sure that, you know, I keep my word on it, and I get the word out there that they're out there doing this stuff. And I've also been forwarding it on as well. Let's see.
Yes, I have also gotten a few emails. I am also one of the people that is going out there. I'm going to have a little chit chatty with on Thursday. After I talked to Natalie, she's been going to the Portland org. And everyone, you should know her as, why did I just have a brain fart? Hecate. So I get to have a good little chat with her on Thursday, and she's going to prep me for what it's like going out there.
That's good. And, you know, one of the big things, watch your back. Make sure you have people there that you can, that you know will have your back, will keep you safe. And you guys make sure you're recording the whole time, because we already know what they've been doing to the other 1A auditors and the other protesters. So make sure you're careful.
But we're old. They're not gonna, you know, we're old geezers.
Yeah.
You know, compared to those youngins. Like, we're old enough to be their parents.
Plus they get pretty high strung, and the young ones do. So, you know.
And our main goal is just getting the information out, letting everybody know, you know, everything that's going on, so that way. Yeah, there you go.
Trying to get Mama, which it'd be understandable, folks, when she sees the things that they do to what Scientology does to its own people. You have to be aware of the fact that she has a lot of trepidations about it. So, you know, I mean, that's the thing is that, and I can understand 100%. You don't see her on here because I don't, you know, she wants to be in the background. She doesn't want to be out there in public. She's not interested in the social media and all that. But, you know, we've talked about it, but she has some real concerns about it. And, you know, we're trying to work through it as we go. So also, and I think you already said that you are more than happy to do it. I know I spelled her name wrong, but we're getting final things set. We're going to do a chat-a-thon for Miriam Francis. We're going to make sure she gets the final amount of money that she needs so she can get her treatment, the DSR treatment that Jamie Mustard came on and was talking about. We're going to have that pretty soon here. And I believe
I would do anything for that girl.
Yeah.
Like, seeing, you know, not only listening to her story and listening to her voice, like, yeah.
When I was talking, she and I were on the phone for quite a while. Well, I shouldn't say phone. We were on Facebook, Facebook Messenger call. But to hear the horrible stuff she's been through, and then the continuation since she's been out and how she's been treated, but to hear her laugh, that gives me hope for anything.
Yeah.
You know, she's so strong. She's just such a beautiful soul.
The fact that I can hear any of us laugh.
And that's the thing is the fact that to go through the hell that you guys have been through and be able to laugh and be able to love and be able to find some semblance of happiness in this world. It's amazing that so many of you didn't go the way of taking yourself out of the world.
Yeah, a lot of people did. A lot of, you know, let's not, you know, I don't want to, you know, say that people haven't, because I know of quite a few that have. But at the same time, we all went through different levels of hell.
Yeah. We all suffered our own scars, our own battle wounds in our own way.
And I mean, for me, it's just when you get to that point that you feel the world is crumbling in, if you could just reach out to one person, you know, reach out to the one person, because we were taught to not reach out to anybody.
Yeah, you were told.
So
Someone had asked earlier, do you know how far your father's made it within his Scientology life? Has he like
No.
gone clear or anything like that? Do you know?
No, I know he's gone clear. He was already clear before he joined the Sea Org.
How far did you make it in your Scientology training?
Technically, yeah, not very far. Like Student Hat, absolutely was
Okay.
super in love with Student Hat, and a crap ton of auditing,
Oh yeah.
and a crap ton. Loved the Purif, not so much the niacin, but I did love drinking,
You know.
unfortunately, CalMag, because it's what we grew up on.
Wow.
But that was the part that didn't have me. Like that was the part that used to confuse me at times and make me question of whether or not this was real, is because I wasn't getting the wins like other people were having. And
The
I,
thing is, I hear it from so many of you, the same thing. And you hear, all of them saying is, I wasn't getting getting it out of it like everybody else was.
yeah, when people would come out doing the dance, like, I feel so good. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And I'd come
Yeah.
out like, I really got to pee.
Yeah.
Like,
That was a long time. It was hot in there. But
like,
but
never
then
got the Cloud9 experience.
but did you realize after coming out how many of them were actually faking it just so that they didn't get themselves in trouble?
Now I've realized it, like at
Right.
least within the last 3 years,
Yeah.
because I literally thought I was the only one that was not experiencing anything, that I was just like pulling this out of my rectum.
Yeah.
And when I heard that other people did it the whole time, I'm like, oh,
Yeah. And hey, Timber. So thank you for joining us. And the thing is that you're here. That's the big thing. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours now, and I know Mama's waiting for me. But I think that this helps to heal me, and hopefully it does you
always,
every
anytime
time
you
we
get
do.
anything out,
Yeah.
it feels a little better, but I will say I am talking with Natalie, I believe Thursday,
Hmm.
and there's a part of me that's still trembly, like
Wow.
that is still counting down like Christmas. Like it
Yeah.
literally feels like I'm going to see my family at Christmas.
That's awesome. That's nice to have that gift to look
Yeah.
forward to. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
beautiful.
when you've never had that excitement at Christmas, when
Mhm.
you've never had that experience that like you'd see on TV, like, oh my God, it's Christmas.
Yeah. You know,
Um,
but just make sure that Serge quits wearing that hat. Let's
yeah.
see that hair. So, no, I'm
He
kidding. I love Serge.
doesn't, he's one of those people that he makes sure that he looks beautiful, and he does it without even thinking, because every outfit that he has, I'm like, that looks so cute on you.
When
And
he
then,
told me how old he was, I was like, how? When I was that age, I had looked beat half to death as it was. My goodness. That's the crazy thing is I was a worn down old man by the time I'd gotten to the age he is now. And he looks like he's 20 years old.
sometimes, yes.
Yeah,
And if you see him doing his dancing, you will think that he's like maybe 25.
how does he get his skin to look like that?
I don't know. He has a regimen that I don't know about.
I mean, mine looks like reptile skin. And
Well, I'm still lucky. I still have that baby face,
yeah.
but I definitely don't look 20.
Yeah, I believe me, I haven't looked 20 for, well, I'm
Since I was
55, so I haven't looked
well,
20 since I was 16. So
I haven't looked like I was in my 20s since I was in my 30s.
yeah. And now I'm starting to get the wonderful salt and pepper in there. So, but
I'm
like
lucky.
I tell,
I got nothing yet.
You know, like I tell, they're like, oh wow, you're starting to get some gray in there. I don't care. It's
I'm
progression
looking
of life.
forward to looking that aged,
Yeah.
that withered look. I'm looking forward to it because you know what? Most of us didn't think we were ever going to get there.
That's me. In the dark, I can pass for 50.
I think in the dark, I can pass for in my 20s too.
But you know, that's like my mom. My mom's 77 years old, and you think she's in her 50s and 60s the way she looks.
Well, if you saw my mom, you'd think she was 300.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does the.
Wow. My mom still works every day. And at 77 years old, doesn't need to, but she does it because it keeps her going. And I think that's part of what makes her look so young. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, Liz, you got anything to close us out with there, hon?
Love you all. If you are not yet subscribed to the amazing Mr. Poe, please clickety click, click, click. And other than that, once I reach 5,000, and again, 5,000 friends or family, Carrie will come on here.
That's going to be awesome. We're not just going to get to see her in the background swooshing through every once in a while. So, folks, I know that some of this may have been triggering for you. These are hard topics, but we've got to address them. You can't move on or heal until you face the horrors that you've seen.
Yeah.
And I think that it's very important that we have an honest, open discussion about these things. Of course, we have to be very careful between YouTube regulations and the fact we don't want to cause further harm to any of you, but we still need to have these open discussions. And your support has been absolutely amazing. We love you, each and every one of you.
Yeah.
As always, every second you spend with us is a gift, and we appreciate it that you would spend your precious time with us. And hopefully we all come out of this with more knowledge and more love for ourselves. So
absolutely.
As always, you get one shot. Life is short. Make it count.